So we see Nigeria's economic space is buzzing, with big developments from, government clarifications, at this time. But let's unpack all of this now. We have Mr. Mukhtar Mohammed, is the CEO of Finance with Mukhtar. I had to drag him out here this morning. Thank you for answering the call.
Always a pleasure, laddie.
It's great to have you, sir.
Thank you.
So I guess at this point, the 5% surcharge, for petroleum products, that's been moved to the side at this point, according to the minister. The impasse between Dangote Refinery and Nupeng, that has been solved at this point. So I guess life is good for us.
Well, life is good. I mean, that's a slogan. Well, I think in the first place, I didn't see need for that 5%. Look, this 5% charge has been an issue, petroleum tax. You remember, it's not starting now. It started from former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Remember when he introduced it to petroleum tax. And I mean, the then president and were governors then, they were opposition. They opposed to it. And I thought that was dead and buried. I mean, Then now they impacted into the road Nigeria Road Management Agency. We're not saying that they will need that tax to make sure they use it to upgrade the roads, make the roads look well. But that didn't happen again. That was also shared because they know the implication on it. Like the minister is saying, is that this has been an existing bill, but no government have the courage to implement it because, again, it's the far-reaching effects it will have on the Nigerian economy. We are talking about a petrol economy. Nigeria is a petrol economy, whether you like it or not. Everything is driven by the cost of energy, the cost of fuel. It's huge. So even having them to even think of putting it into the tax law, for me, it's assault because you should look at the tax law. You said you want to be implemented. Look, I said it on your program. I said the best policy that this administration has had, the economic policy, is going to be the Tax Reform Act, especially when you look at the company income tax, when you look at smaller businesses. For me, that's fantastic. There are other things that people are looking at that tax bill that people are still not happy with it. Then you bring in this 5% tax still. I think because, again, you're looking at PPP, public-private partnership, build and operate. You are going to put toll gate, you are going to tow the roads, you are going to tow the coastal road. They say they will tow it. And you say you want to maintain it again with 5% tax on petroleum. You are going to tow the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway later. You say you are going to have. So it's more or less like double taxation. And so I don't think once the towing came in, remember that when President Obasanjo was trying to introduce that 5% petrol tax, he said they were going to remove towing from the roads. And they removed all the toll gates. That was when all the toll gates left, thinking that policy will see the light of the day. And at the end of the day, they didn't see the light of the day. So now, because after that he has removed the toll gates have been dismantled. But Labour protested, Nigerian protested. And that, so for you to come in now thinking that was then and now things are tougher than then. So I think the government got it all wrong. To even input it in that bill, for me, is wrong. And that's why we keep saying that bill did not pass through public scrutiny. If that bill had passed through, people would have raised that issue that, look, you are going to tow the roads, you are not saying to maintain the road, we are going to pay for maintenance of road, you are increasing taxes on individual, so what am I paying tax for? Yes, you can say you introduce in developed country. Let me give an instance.
In developed countries, right, we have this.
Yes, we have it in Texas. In Texas, okay. In Houston, Texas. They operate it, but now because
even the developed countries sometimes they have cost of living crisis.
Yes,
and they still have to pay that.
Yes,
but this Nigeria situation is different.
It's different. Let me give you an example. In Texas, they suspended it because of the cost of living. They've suspended it now for the time being. Especially when they came out from COVID, and
so they turn it on when things are looking good. Turn it off,
and you could see the impact on the economy. Those taxes are paid for specific roads, not the roads that are already tall. They are paid for expansion of some of these roads or opening up of new roads to reduce the congestion, the traffic. But we are not looking at that. We are saying we want to pay that for maintenance of roads. I don't understand why do you have to pay a special levy for the road to be maintained when I'm paying tax. For me, it's double taxation.
Right. And, definitely nerves are calm, right now with this.
I'm happy the minister came in and gave what I call a war press conference to that, because even the chairman of the Tax Reform Act did not help matters. So when he came in, he said that is being there, but it's not going to be implemented immediately. And
it could come up at some point.
I don't know when.
Maybe when things get really good.
No,
the cost of living crisis eases in Nigeria.
Let's look at it. If you gazette the tax act, like the minister said, it is gazetted by the Minister of Finance through the approval of the National Economic Team through the President, doesn't mean we are going to do selective implementation, because it's in the act. So that means if it's gazetted, that means everything in that act should be implemented.
Well, I guess you can turn it off and on. That's
what I'm saying. Are we going to have selective implementation? That's a question for them to answer.
Yeah. The minister has to answer that. At this point, we'll definitely try and get, that response. Then let's move on to the Dangote Nupeng resolution at this point, because I was getting nervous.
Why?
I immediately went to fill up my tank when I heard it.
You see, Laddie, it's not supposed to be an issue. In Nigeria, we take things, it's not supposed to be an issue. Because you're talking about a private business, you're talking about Nupeng. You should have it shouldn't, because you have a problem with Dangote, it should affect the whole life of every Nigerian. So why not say our members will not be lifting product from Dangote Refinery, pending when we resolve this issue? Why are you now putting all the burden on everybody? Why are you trying to put everybody into suffering for what should be an amicable solution like what they've done? Dangote is a private business. Dangote is operating under the PIB bill. And it has not gone against it if he said, I run my company and I said I don't want unionism. It's up to you. And unionism is optional.
He has a right to choose.
He has a right to choose.
Okay.
I can decide that I don't want to belong to any union. Look, laddie, whether we like it or not, if you look at what is happening, the cabal in the oil sectors are still fighting, and they are going to use every means to make sure what we are enjoying in terms of pricing, in terms of the removal of subsidy, they are going to find every means. Look, before now, remember the independent marketers are already complaining that, Dangote is not supposed to do logistics. Because in taking off that logistics, it's going to bring down the cost of PM.
Isn't that what we call backward integration?
It's
somewhat.
It's business. I have my business strategy. I'm saying that, we do it these days. Some companies, when you buy product from them, you don't go to their...
They don't get a third party?
No, a third party. You don't go to their shops or their offices to pick it up. They will tell you that they will deliver it for you. I'll give an example. If you use Amazon Prime, delivery is free within 24 hours. It's part of your business right now. Dangote is saying, look, instead of moving those, we have the CMG buses, truck, we are going to move it to all our partners. And you are saying, no, we must continue to use you, or those people must become part of you. I don't think. He said, no, there was no cause for alarm. Now you have gone inside a memorandum of understanding. I'll ask myself, how have the union been able to impact the life of the ordinary Nigeria? They always impact their own, they are all thinking of themselves. And how many percentage of the union are really in terms of Nigeria? So because of some few percentage of people, then you now impact the life of every Nigerian. I don't think it was right. What they are doing was what they should have done. Don't set the system in panic. You would have gone to have that meeting with Dangote, and you both would have sat down, and the MOU that you are doing now should have come out, not trying to threaten with strike. And even though strike was some of them were saying, no, we are not part of it. So you would have even lost your credibility.
Okay, but, a country, going through, high inflation, a cost of living crisis, experts say there's that risk that workers will be taken advantage of, at some point. And I guess that's why we have the unions, to try and protect these workers.
Laddie, some of these unions have gone picketing in the talk about protesting, picketing, compressing some multinational organizations. How much have they been able to achieve?
So you're saying the unions are toothless?
Look, for private businesses, even with the government business, remember the Nigerian Labour Congress, what's the minimum wage that you want? Oh, 100 and something thousand, that was supposed to be a minimum. At the end of the day, the president came and said, I will only pay 70,000. They did not go back to work. Look, he who paid the piper, they trade the tune. I know what I'm earning. I know how much I can pay. That is negotiating power. So when you see union fighting, there are people that come into an organization and they are earning higher than the other people they made. It's their negotiating power. They offer you something, you don't want to take it. There's no, the only thing we have is minimum wage. Minimum wage is 70,000. Minimum wage. You cannot pay below 70,000. If a doctor decides to work in Dangote Refinery and decides to take 70,000, that's what he negotiated for. That's his business. That's what he thinks is his value. You don't come and say, oh, this must be the threshold for a director, for a... I mean, no, this is a private business. I'm out to make profit for myself and for my shareholders.
But we know there are some businesses that take advantage of workers.
It's all over everywhere. It's just like workers also should take advantage of businesses also. Just like what Nupeng is doing, they are taking advantage of it because they think their strategic nature in that in the oil and gas sector. And they know that once they sniff, then the whole economy everywhere will just be in panic mode. And they're taking advantage of it. You can't tell them, everybody has his own advantage.
So, looking at everything that's played out, so far, how would you gauge impact to investor confidence before resolutions?
I think that's where Dangote has acted professionally. I mean, and the presidency also, we should commend them. They didn't just sit on the fence. I thought they were going to sit on the fence. But they know the impact that, and I'm happy that the presidency stepped in. And Dangote Refinery also listened to the presidency, and Nupeng also saw needs to have that negotiation. I think that will give investors more confidence that labor matters can be handled professionally and every party come up and resolve the issue. I think for me that was a good thing. That will give investors more confidence. But if it has gone the other way, because it's a private business, and we are here crying for investors, the president is traveling all over the world to look for investors. No investors want to come to an economy whereby a union can hold you ransom. No investor want to come in there because they are investing their funds. They are looking at the environment. So when you create that kind of volatile environment, you don't attract investors. So this is good, especially what would have happened because Dangote Refinery is one of the biggest refinery in the world, and it's the news out of any news in terms of business from Nigeria. The biggest business news in Nigeria is that you have a refinery that's one of the biggest refinery in the world, located in Africa, located in Nigeria, located in Lagos. So anything that happens there is a pointer to what your economy is like because you have a very strategic company that is listed there.
Right, and some would say, since we've had this refinery now, that's the Dangote Refinery, it almost seems like there's been no peace. Do you think at some point we will have peace?
Laddie, there will not be peace. There will not be peace because there are a particular set of people that enjoy this industry for the past 20-something years, for the past 30 years. They have been milking Nigeria and milking the government. Those are the cabals that were enjoying subsidy. So they are going to fight anyway. There were companies that were importing fuels. Now importation seems to be, nobody just stay and watch his business die. So whatever means they are going to fight. Now the fight they will do, they tell, oh, it's monopolization. Why should it be only him? They have forgotten that there's a Watersmith refinery somewhere. There's a Boa refinery coming up very soon. There are a lot of smaller modular refineries. So very soon, the fight will continue because now, let me tell you what will happen. Now we are fighting, the Kaba is fighting Dangote Refinery. Very soon it will now become a fight between the competitors. That is Dangote fighting Watersmith, fighting Boa, which will be good for us. And
we've also heard NNPCL under attack. We've heard about that one too.
NNPCL, Laddie, I don't want to talk about NNPCL. I mean, NNPCL should be the big elephant in the house. They should be the one determining. We should be shouting. Dangote should be complaining that NNPCL is monopolizing the market because they have all the infrastructure. Unfortunately, lack of leadership. Not from this president, not from the last leadership. It has been a collective leadership issues with the NNPC. That's why we are where we are today. There is no how that NNPC should be a major player, not only in Nigeria, Africa, and global. Oh, we should be competing with the lack of Petrobras. Why should we be so excited that Petrobite is coming to Nigeria? Why should we be, if little companies like Oando, Seplat, Arade are acquiring companies outside Nigeria, why should NNPC not do that? Because of lack of leadership. So we expect that very soon we'll see NNPC being the big player in the market. They have all the infrastructure. NNPC can pump. NNPC before now, we didn't even have tanker drivers. NNPC have the infrastructure to pump refined petroleum product from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri. The pipelines are there. They have the infrastructure. They should be the one monopolizing. We shouldn't even be talking about this logistic Dangote moving truck from point A to point B. NNPC would have killed it. So that's why I don't like to, because there's so much potential in NNPC. It's a very sensitive.
They have so much resources.
So much resources.
You know, just
I'm
like
not even talking about the money. I'm not even talking about this. I'm talking about the infrastructure. NNPC used to, I remember then when I was schooling in Niger State, NNPC used to pump fuel from Port Harcourt to Suleja, from Suleja to Mina. NNPC have tank farm almost every state in Nigeria. At that time, the only thing you see the tankers about is to move within Mina or within the local government. They go to a particular local government and load that fuel and take it to various local governments. It's not now that we are seeing people loading fuel from Lagos and taking it to Maiduguri. It's nothing like that.
So we need the NNPCL to flex that muscle.
Look, NNPCL should flex their muscles again.
Right.
I'm happy with the new leadership, private sector driven. Right. Hopefully, we should see NNPCL becoming the big player in the market. We won't be having issues like this.
And maybe NNPCL going into other countries.
That's
just like
that's the game changer. That's the game changer.
That's the game changer.
Remember when President Obasanjo was selling NNPCL? Then, so the owner today of Dangote Refinery, food for thought. We would wonder what NNPCL would have been if that deal was allowed.
I can only imagine.
You can only imagine. If that same person today have the largest single train refinery in the world, you should just imagine what he would have done with NNPCL.
Mr. Mokhtar Mohammed, I guess that's a good place to anchor it. Thank you so much for coming on today and for answering the call so early last week.
When China's call, we answer.
Thank you so much.